Hello and welcome
Hello.
back to the show.
The show.
The show. It's no longer a podcast.
It's high-end production.
It is. It's now the Be Your Own Coach show.
Brilliant. I like it. Welcome.
Insert jingle here.
Insert jingle here, which we will get to. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a fantastic week.
Yes, first week back.
Second
week back.
Yeah, second week back.
It's all a bit blurry.
It is. Soft launch first week.
Mm-hmm.
Into the thick of it this week.
But we're back. We're cooking.
And we wanted to talk to you today about something that I think is really important, because I see it a lot in just not just my friends, but also in some of the people that I'm working with.
Yep.
And that is setting boundaries and advocating for yourself if you are pushing for a goal, or you've changed a habit, or you're trying something new and different, and you're receiving criticism, negativity, or just not general support and positivity from those around you.
Yes.
In pursuit of this, which I think is quite common.
It is quite common. And I suspect the timing of this is very good, because we're in that, well, as we said, we're in that second week of January where the motivation might be on the way down. So if you have set a new goal, we're now in the kind of discipline and habit phase where any kind of barrier to that succeeding is going to have a big impact. And one of them barriers is the people around us, right?
Yeah, I think it makes a massive difference, especially if your circle of friends, we usually hang around with or spend time with people that are the most like us, ultimately.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to do something different, then you're probably not in the space where those people are doing the same thing as you. So you're already, the odds are stacked up anyway. So it's about making sure that you are confident and self-assured in what you're doing and why.
So people really get what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Give us an example of what we're talking
about. Classic one. Let me give you the classic one, just because it's an easy one as an example. New Year's resolutions. I'm going to go to the gym. So someone goes to the gym, they're starting a health kick, they're starting that kind of process. We always see it. They get started and everyone's going, oh, amazing, that sounds great. And then a week or two in, they're making progress. Let's go with a generic. It might be a generic weight loss goal. Mm. So let's say they are starting to see the changes. They're feeling more confident in themselves. They're losing weight.
Saying no to events.
Saying no to the drinks and the pizza nights or whatever that might be. And suddenly the friends around start commenting on, oh, you're obsessed. Mm-hmm. Or you're not how you used to be. Why are you even bothering? You look great. Don't become emancipated, and don't turn into X, Y, and Z, and don't lose your personality. All this stuff comes in, and you're thinking, what? Where's this come from? It's been 14 days.
Yeah.
That's a really good example. And then the other one, which I have seen, and this is actually a client example, was they were starting to be more present on social media, aka LinkedIn.
Okay.
And pushing out of their comfort zone, going to networking events, trying to speak at panel events, putting themselves forward for things. And they were experiencing people in the office around them almost mocking, but in that friendly, the quote unquote friendly mocking.
Yeah, you can see it now. We're all seeing that. We'll experience that without a doubt. You can hear the comments being said.
And little screenshots of LinkedIn and little comments and just little chipping, nothing major, but just those things that you just think, it's a bit of a chip, that one.
Yeah.
So they're my two.
They're two good examples.
Yeah, two good examples that I have got for you.
Okay, so do we start with the why people do that, or
let's go there.
Yeah. So why do you think people do that?
So I have an example or an analogy that I use, or a phrase, which I've used this for years. I have no idea where it comes from. So if I'm taking anybody's work, please let me know.
Yeah.
But I've always called it moving boxes. So, as an example, each person in our lives, we have in our mind in a specific box. So I know that you are this kind of person. This is what you do. This is how you are. This is your attributes, your traits, your personalities, your behavior. I know where I sit in relation to that. And then insert X person here. I know where they sit in relation to me. I know about them. I know where I sit in the hierarchy of life, of everything, in health, fitness, career, ambition, relationships. We're all in boxes, and we put other people in boxes around us.
Yeah.
And that's great. And that's kind of equilibrium. Everything's working well because we feel secure. Everyone's got their place and they're all behaving
As expected.
correct, in their box. Now, when this person starts to shift their box, my whole view of the world is just gone, no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it at all. I feel out of control. It's making me question, maybe. So there's an area of mirroring here. Does it make us feel uncomfortable because it's highlighting something in ourselves?
Yeah.
A discomfort? So when the boxes move, that person, we might experience that they're becoming uncomfortable with that. So they will do everything in their power to put you back in that box because it works for their model of the world.
Yeah.
It's not about you per se.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do
It's
with
nothing to do with you. It's about their perception of the world, where everything fits in their structure, and you're trying to move that and they don't like it.
Yeah. And this is the homeostasis point of humans and how we like things to be the same. Change is always different, basically. And particularly when someone's making a substantial change. If you're a drinking partner that you used to go for a drink every Thursday night, all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, mate, I'm going to stop that.
Yeah.
You've lost, not only have you lost that, but you've also got this considerable change that's going on, which is uncomfortable for the person. Thus, it would make sense that that person would be like, no, come and have a drink, mate, come for one, whatever it is, and so on and so on. So, okay, that explains the why.
Okay, can I give you another why as well?
Okay.
And then I do actually have a question because it's just come into my mind in terms of your space and your life as well.
Okay.
But another part of the why is the mirror.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this myself when I see certain things and it makes me feel uncomfortable or I have a reaction. I ask myself, well, why is that? Because usually if it's making us feel uncomfortable, it's highlighting either a desire that we want ourselves that we're not able to do, something we feel uncomfortable about maybe.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot about as well leaning into that mirror. What is it highlighting for you? So I'd always say, and I always do this professionally, if I see something or if I see a certain person on LinkedIn or whatever achieving something and it makes me feel a certain way, my default question is, well, why? Is that something you want deep down?
Right.
And is it highlighting that for you and it's making you feel uncomfortable because you're not on that trajectory? If so, amazing. It's giving you a...
This is if you're in a position of the person that's looking at someone making a change or doing something or achieving something or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think there's a lot of reflection. Change can, if somebody is changing themselves, their habits, their behaviours, whatever that might be, it can act as a mirror for other people to question their behaviours. And if they don't want to be questioned, they're not ready yet.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've heard people push back when their friends are, let's use the gym again, they're pushing back, oh, why are you doing that? Oh, you shouldn't do that. I've experienced this myself. You'll become boring. You'll be obsessed, this, that, and the other. 2 years later, and they've signed up for 6 Hyroxes.
Of course, yeah.
And now, their boxes have moved, recalibrated, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But there is that changing period, that tension.
Yeah.
Another why is it can be quite exposing for other people if it's highlighting an insecurity or something that they're maybe feeling.
Yeah, and then obviously there's just the edge case as well that some people are just not nice people.
Yeah,
just going to say bad things, and it's just going to be as simple as that. But I assume even them people, it'll come from a point of view of they want what you've got or they want what you're trying to achieve. Yeah,
which my point there would be, yes, if they are just not nice people, well, why?
Yeah,
why? It usually is an insecurity, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've found historically with this as well that the people closer to you are the ones that are the hardest to process for this. So family are particularly difficult, particularly close family when you're making a significant change, because, and I think this comes from the point of view of they see the risk in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So there's a protection method of stay safe, stay in your lane.
Okay, so maybe we need to touch on that as well, because we've looked at the why as of a negative point of view, but you've hit on something really important there. There could be a why of, I'm not going to say a lack of education, but maybe generational, maybe models of the world, maybe understanding, maybe exposure, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
If you said to me, Kathy, I'm going to start skydiving tomorrow, I'm probably not going to be fully supportive. I might, please don't.
I wouldn't be either.
But there is a part of my brain that would go, well, that doesn't sound safe to me. My best interest
But it's
for
most,
you is to support you and help you.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to encourage you to do that.
and that's a really explicit example, but there's subtler examples where, like, for example, if you said, now, let's say you're in a certain point in your career and you're like, "Do you know what, I'm going to drop this career
Mhm.
and I'm going to go after something else."
Yeah.
And you told your parents that.
Yeah.
And, this exact example, I think I can replicate. And your parents are like, "Hang on a sec. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You're not that." Like, and that, I think, comes from a point of view, well, hang on, you're here, you're stable, you've got an income, whatever, and you're going to risk all of that to go and pursue X, Y, and Z. And I think that is from a place of protection, as in they don't want you to take that unnecessary risk.
Yeah, it's
because
love as well.
They see that risk, yeah. So
yeah,
I
they
think
want
it's
to support. It's love. The other part, adding to your example there, is also let's go to generation.
Yeah.
That's just not what that generation
It doesn't
did.
make any sense to them.
Yeah, they're thinking, what on earth? It's unstable. It's not safe. Maybe there was a stereotype back then for that person, that kind of person. So yeah, I think it's really important. You've definitely hit an nail on the head there in terms of highlighting how it can be done as well through wanting to keep that person safe
from a good intent.
From a good intent.
Good intent.
Yeah.
Bad action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay then. Well, my question was actually, because I know you mentioned the drinking one.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I know that both of us were not really drinkers, and you and I both went through a period of, while we're doing this fitness thing, we're not drinking, we're not going out and having crazy meals.
Yeah.
For me, that's not that much of an issue because a lot of my friends are in that circle.
Yeah.
For you, did you get any pushback, positive, negative, or how was that experience?
Not from the drinking, because the drinking was never a core.
It's never been
It's never been a core part, if that makes sense. So yeah, no. There's probably a few subtle examples of, you walk in and you might order a lemonade to start, and everyone would make the comment, but it would go pretty quick because it wasn't like an essential part. But you still got that.
And I guess where's the line of it's a comment, it's kind of lads banter, or all that friendly kind of.
Everything has intent, and I think I think there's probably cleaner examples. I think for me personally,
okay, go for it.
I started doing video content a year ago.
Yeah.
And the initial reaction that I got to doing that was pretty hostile, if I'm honest. Across the board. And
not just from me.
No. you were very supportive, too.
Absolutely.
But no, most of the commentary was, that's ridiculous, ultimately. And I think it goes back to your analogy before of, I'm a fairly quiet guy and I like to do my own thing, and I'm very quiet, not very extroverted, I would say. So to go from that in someone's mind to, hang on, you've got a YouTube channel and you're putting video content out.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Was basically the line.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because we'd talked about this beforehand, before I'd started doing the video content. We'd discussed what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we knew this conversation we're having now, we knew this was
we had a rough
possibility.
idea. Yeah.
So we prepared for that is going to happen. How do I deal with it when it does?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what we're getting at today, is that you can't change what other people say or do.
No.
Let's use your LinkedIn example before, or use that. Someone's putting out some more content, okay? And then people are looking at that. They are going to say things. They're going to make jokes. They're going to make references. And I think it will take people off guard if you're not prepared for the negativity when you make a significant change. So whether it's the gym, drinking, putting more content out, starting an Instagram channel, whatever it is, it's being aware that there will be people that will jar with, and they could be really close people to you, and that's okay. They will make comments. It's how you take them comments and how you deal with it that will matter. So yeah, hopefully that's a better example than the drink one for me.
And maybe that's touching on being solid in your why.
Yeah.
Because if you know why you're doing it, then it doesn't make it easier as such, but it gives you a little bit more strength in pursuit and in continuing to move forward and not faltering. And I guess the main thing that I always think is, and I've said this to you before, is ultimately, at the end of the day, you've only got you to answer to. There's only you that you have to look in the mirror. And if you look back on your life and think, I wish I'd have carried on doing that, or I really wish I'd have done that.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to cuddle you and say, oh, don't worry, never mind. You've only got you to answer to. So I guess for me, it's the idea of going, what is more uncomfortable, saying, I gave it a shot, or saying, I wish I'd have given it a shot? And for me, the concept of not trying is more uncomfortable than giving it a go and it not working.
Yeah. And I think, my experience of this, and the content is just one example of this. It's happened multiple times. Is there tends to be two camps of people. There's a camp of people that it might be the point where you go, do you know what? I'm not that I'm done with that person, but I'm just going to distance myself, and that's fine, because it separates your trajectories in life.
Yeah.
You might want different things, and that's fine. The second is the group that might make the more playful comments at the start are the ones that are asking you how you did it 6 months in.
Yeah.
And that is a universal.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's something about what you mentioned about being sure in yourself. And one of the ways that I remember I've dealt with it in the past is you make it your identity. So there's an example of when I started training. And again, I went from doing nothing to training basically effectively and consistently and eating better, et cetera, et cetera. And someone one day just mentioned, oh, it's Liam 2.0. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. And then it became like a running joke of like, oh no, Liam 1.0 wouldn't do that, but 2.0 does. And all of a sudden, my identity of the box was reassigned in everyone's mind.
And you've reassigned it as well.
And I'd reassigned it as well. And I was comfortable with it. So everyone knew that if we went out for dinner, that I was going to eat X, Y, and Z, or if I couldn't get up at what time I was training, whatever it was, whatever the impact on life was, it was rebranded in not just my eyes, but in their eyes as well. So that was a simple way of doing it. But it's not easy when people close to you are making, even people not close to you. I'd argue the people that aren't close to you are the worst ones. The close ones you can sort of, as we've just discussed, I think you can justify why they're doing it. So if your parents say, don't go for that, don't quit your job and go after this entrepreneurial life or whatever, because you know that is from a place of, we want to just basically make sure that you're okay and safe and here.
Yeah.
It's the people I think that are just on the fringes of your circle that make the comments that I think are the hardest ones to process, because they've got no skin in the game.
So why are they saying it?
Yeah.
I think you've mentioned there that idea of you can justify it. And I think that's an important point, because I've often spoken to people who've had pushback, and other friends, more supportive friends, might have said, just don't listen to them, just cut them out, get rid of them.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
It's not that simple. And ultimately, I think it's about deciding who your panel is.
Yeah.
So for example, if I've decided, let's say I'm a meat eater and I've decided to become a vegetarian, I'm not going to go to my carnivore friends and talk to them about
being a vegan.
About being a vegan and what do they think, because it's the wrong audience. It doesn't mean I'm going to cut them out.
No.
Similarly, let's say if it is parents and you're thinking of, or friends or relatives, and you're thinking of doing something different or pushing against the comfort zone or their space, maybe approach that with curiosity. The idea of, okay, I wonder where they're coming from with that, as opposed to defensive straight away, or they're this, they're that, they don't care, they're supportive. The outcome might be the same, that you might not take their opinion, advice, you might decide not to listen, you might decide to carry on anyway, fantastic. But there's going to be less resistance, less anger, less negative energy in the whole situation if you can approach it from curiosity of, okay, why might they be feeling that? If it's somebody who you genuinely believe has got your best intention at heart, example, parents or really close friends, maybe question and bring it to them as well. Why is it that you are pushing back on this? I know full well that you want the best for me. So what is it, the fear that's coming out?
Yeah.
So if you can have that conversation, if it's not the kind of situation where you can have the conversation.
All of this is nuanced.
Yeah, it's nuanced. And if you want to still maintain that relationship, then maybe do that justification yourself, try and understand, try and approach it with curiosity, and then decide what you are going to do going forward. If I'm constantly going to my carnivore friends and expect a different result, then...
Well, that's the definition of insanity, but also if you make it like, let's use that simple example of, if you're in a group and you're all carnivore friends and you smoke meat on a Saturday and Sunday and you become a vegetarian, there's an acceptance that the reason that you are in that circle and the thing that bonded you and connected you is gone. So there is an acceptance that that relationship might not continue, and that should be part of the strategy in deciding on this stuff, because it's the same as, if you I'm trying to think of a good analogy here, but if your friends go out on a Thursday for quiz night in the pub, and then on a Saturday for drinks and club night or whatever, club night, show me age, and then all of a sudden you become like the 6 a.m. ice bath gym goer. Well, that is a direct contrast to what brought you together. So your foundations of the relationship is kind of going to be stretched and tested, and the chances are, there's a reason why you don't get. The chances are it's going to change the dynamic, isn't it? And it's okay to do that, but the more that you can think about the strategy of that and what that means for you, the better, really.
And that might be, in that friend group who are going on to the club nights, as you say, with their glow sticks. It might be there might be a certain few people within that group that you really connect with and you really did get on with. So you might reach out and say, hey, you free for coffee, or do you want to go for a walk, do whatever you do outside of that space. But maybe the other side of this is also, you've still got that network. They've not gone anywhere. You don't have to break up with them. It doesn't have to be a massive dramatic thing. You might just text or be in the WhatsApp group, or you still care about these people, but it might just be that you don't turn up to the club nights or whatever that might be, as long as we're communicating. But then the other side of it is find your new tribe.
Exactly. There'll be a new group of people that will appear from that as well.
And it doesn't mean getting rid of people. It just means joining the groups where you're all heading in the right direction, in the same direction, is going to make it easier. So, let's say I might still go and see my other friends and we might hang out and do certain things, but I'm also now part of and this is completely not true, but a vegetarian cooking school, and I've made some friends through that. It doesn't mean I have to just get rid of people and cull people.
No.
It's just expanding your network.
But it's also
different facets of personality.
It's also expecting, but from both sides, just like you look at that person and going, you need to accept them not coming to the club night. I also need to accept that I'm not going to get invited to the club night eventually. So, it's going to work both ways. So, making some of these, let's just say the traditional New Year's goals at the level that I think most people are going to run into it. And there'll be, 10, 15% that will make it through. Their lives are going to change considerably. Because if you go from left to right, not in a political sense, in what we're talking about here, then that's going to have a huge impact on the rest of your life. So I think it's worth considering where them bonds break down as well.
Yeah. And I'm aware we've spoken here about being a vegetarian. I mean, the irony being that when we met, I was a vegetarian until you started making bacon sandwiches. And that slowly dwindled away.
I think I remember one of my first questions to you was, is it a problem that I really like meat? No. So I was like, okay, fair enough.
My vegetarianism purely came from a
You didn't really like...
Well, no, I gave myself horrific food poisoning trying to cook burgers. So it wasn't as much as I'd love it to be, it wasn't a moral choice. It was a lack of skill in the kitchen choice that led to... Your burger is my Foster's. I can't drink Foster's or smell it because I was sick when I was 16 because I drank too many Foster's. So between us, if you go to Wetherspoons and have a burger and a pint, neither of us are going to be happy.
You can get a bottle of Foster's, get a pint of Foster's.
I was going to say, when you said Foster's, I thought, it was blue, wasn't it? Blue with the F. Okay, but
anyway, we digress.
We digress. But I'm aware we've touched on more personal goals, but outside of work. What about them? In your professional environment, you've decided this is the year you're going to maybe look for more responsibility, you're going to bring more to the table, you're maybe going to go, I'm going to use the phrase, and for anyone listening and not looking at the video, I'm definitely air quoting the above and beyond.
Okay.
You're doing more, you're wanting to grow, you're wanting to develop. Those around you aren't particularly bothered and they're looking, thinking, what are you doing, you suck up or you geek or whatever? How do we navigate that space when it's a professional push, shall we call it?
So I'd argue it's the hardest place for this is in the professional life because the vast majority of people around you are also competing with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might have some friends at work, but the chances are you've also got colleagues, and them colleagues are after the same promotion that you're after. So if you do something to stand out, then it makes logical sense that they would then try and bring you down or mock you or whatever to make sure that they get the promotion or that they get that. They don't want to be seen to be, less or whatever, however it works. So I would be very clear that this is not whatever this we come up with here in terms of ideas, concepts. I'm sure you've got some really useful ones. This is not an easy thing to do in terms of sending out. And I was going to touch on it a second ago, but is there a cultural element to this in terms of the UK? Because we've talked about this many times, and I think it's called tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
And we've had some exposure to the US and how they operate, and it just seems that in the UK our mission is to always blend in and be here.
Yeah.
Whereas the US seems to have a very different approach to this.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. It's very celebrated, isn't it? Yeah. Go after it. Go you.
Yeah.
Do the thing. Push out that comfort zone. Go for it. Where stereotypically we do find that in the UK that it's blend in, stay safe, be in the crowd. That's the game.
Yeah.
So I think you are totally right there as well.
Throws in the mix. One other thing that this is just reminding me of, because my brain's taken away now, is I was listening to the James Smith podcast. He's just released, and they're talking about this topic. And he said that one of the best ways that he dealt with this was moving abroad. But the reason will become clearer in a second. So I don't think hopefully it doesn't have to be as extreme. But the guest as well had done the same thing.
Right.
So I think she'd come from Brazil, and he'd obviously moved to Australia.
Yeah.
And what he basically said was when he was in the UK, he played rugby, but he was the drinker, the partier, etc.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do better at rugby. So when he moved to New Zealand, he moved to play rugby. So he was a rugby player.
Yeah.
So when he got there, he said, people are like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm a rugby player. Yeah. So then his identity became the rugby player, but it was the easiest way to shed the history because nobody knew him. And the lady from Brazil, I think it was, said the same thing. She came to the UK with no friends. So she was whatever she said she was.
Yeah.
And there's something quite powerful in that because we all have these historic
identities
that are built up. And who now is the same as they were when they were 30 or 20, so. But if I was to put my 5 mates here now from school, they will still have, it might be getting smaller and smaller in terms of portion, but 25% of their belief of who I am was who I was when I was 18.
Yeah.
And yet if I met someone that I'd met 2 years ago, who I am is completely different to them because of that sort of that knowledge. So it was a really interesting point that had happened accidentally to them 2 people, where moving abroad had sort of reset their whole identity of who they were.
And that maybe it is, because that definitely links back to what we were talking on previous episodes about goals and knowing your identity.
Yep.
So as an example, and you'll know exactly what I mean here, I decided in that last year that I wanted to do more writing.
Yep.
I wanted to update, shall we say, my identity to writer as well. That didn't mean I'm going around Waterstones kind of
signing random books.
Yes. Deciding which book I like the best. Where's Wally? That was a Kathy Brooks special. Pretending, but it did mean that I was really clear that aside from what we're talking about now, it did help me come to conversations as a writer. So if there was an opportunity, I was primed for that, which happened, and then it allowed us to write for the column at the moment and other bits and pieces. But knowing the identity that you're working towards, and I think it's really important knowing how it will feel when you get there.
Yeah.
So for me, I always had this vision of doing the work I'm doing the coaching work in the leadership, be your own coach, doing all of this and also writing. That's part of my identity. I knew what it'd look like. I knew how I'd feel. I knew what I wanted to wear when I was doing the presentation or the talk and talking about my piece of work, whatever. I had this vision and it was great. So that every time I was doing something towards that vision, or still am, I know where I'm working towards. So if I
Yeah.
do get, which I have, a few negative comments or a few questions or a few pieces where I think that might just be a little chip there that someone's gone for, a little chink there, I still know that's okay because I know what I'm looking at. I know where I want to go. Let's say, again, basic example would be the weight loss one.
Mhm.
If you've got an image or a dress, or you can have a pair of jeans if you'd like, or a dress, I'm not here to judge, of what you want to fit into, what you want to wear, how it wants to feel, whatever that might be. If you've got that vision, then already you've got a stronger why, so that when the comments come in, doesn't make it easy, but it does act as a bit of a shield to when you're achieving. So going back to that professional identity, it's setting yourself up for December 2026. Where do I want to be in my career? So when you are pushing out the comfort zone, when you are putting yourself forward for an event, if you do get a little bit of commentary, shall we call it, you're able to go, well, 1 second, who is it coming from? Is it necessary? Is it true? Does it help me? No. Okay, well, I can choose what to do with that information. And maybe that's it. Maybe this is the whole point of this episode is whatever anyone says, see it as a tennis ball. You've been given the tennis ball of information. You can choose whether you want to put it in your pocket and hold on to it and let it weigh you down, or you can choose to chuck it away, or you can choose to put it in a drawer. So it's all a choice how you responded to these comments and conversations. But knowing full well, December 2026, the person I want to become, the person I'm working towards,
this is
how would they
how I do it.
deal with it? What would they do?
And I think
making yourself proud ultimately.
Do what you say you're going to do. And I think with any change, you're going to have to put your ego out the door. As in, is that the right phrase? Out the door. You have to put your ego aside because of that commentary, there will be some good stuff. So, for example, let's say you stand up and do your first video, your first video content, and you keep saying okay, and then somebody walks in the office and go, "Hi, someone comes in the office and says, has everyone seen Mr. Over here?" Okay, well, first of all, that's quite clear that that's mockery and kind of not in a good
a little
intent.
chip.
However, there is a bit of good information in that to go, oh, hang on a sec, maybe I did. So maybe I need to get some editing software, or maybe I need to get a course, aka we've got a platform for that, beyourcoach.com.
If you haven't signed up.
That was a beautiful segue. So, there are, even in the bad examples where it hurts, there are good things that can make you better.
Well, do you know what my head, adding on to that, where my head immediately went, but they watched.
And yes, they watched.
So if they've commented,
in fact, you've just nailed something.
If they've commented, they have given their precious time, part of their precious life.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it as well.
So there's got to be something there.
Because you're right. Because there are examples where I put content out, and you can obviously see who's liked and who's responded and who's subscribed, etc., etc. And then somebody talks to you about it, and you're like, "Hang on a sec. I've not seen you like or subscribe or anything. About getting feedback. Oh, okay, interesting. Yes, that's a great point. That's the way to spit. But again, in every negative comment that's coming, there will be something to take from it that could help you on your direction, on your journey. Stay on the right direction.
And it's the relationship as well, isn't it? How important is that person to you? What's the frame of reference that they're coming from? What's their intention? Just start to question it. And maybe this is the bow on top of all of this is curiosity and question it. Is it helpful? Is it useful? What can you take from that? Is it going to help you? Is it a brick that you put in your pocket and weighing yourself down? It's got heavier than a tennis ball now, this analogy. Is it a brick that's weighing you down, or is it something you can put to a side?
I thought you were going to say build a house with then. That would have been beautiful.
I don't know if that would have worked. There was an analogy, because then you've got a house that you don't want to be in because you want to go forward. You've just got a negative house. Nobody needs that.
I think there's definitely a building analogy there.
Okay.
I'll come back to you on that.
Please do, because I'm just really
So the brick can weigh you down, or it
excited.
can be used to build your chapel. Or
A chapel?
cathedral.
A cathedral, right?
Yeah.
Got it? Cool.
There's always good stuff here.
Tune in next week for more analogies. But yes. So if you are pushing out of your comfort zone, if you've got
it will be uncomfortable.
A goal, something you want to work towards, growth, whatever that might be, it will be uncomfortable. there might be, I don't want to say will, but you might experience pushback.
No, you will. I think I cannot
but...
think of one example historically where I haven't. I think the only time you won't find pushback is an example we've just shared, which is if you move to a different country.
Does silence count as pushback?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's worth adding, because I'm thinking here, there's certain things I've done
it's just
where I haven't had pushback, but there's been tumbleweed. No, but I've not had anyone saying anything supportive or
anything. Just anything full stop. Yeah,
full stop.
They don't want to. Yeah, but again, that's them protects themselves because they don't want to even enter into they want to put their head in sand and ignore it's happening.
And maybe this is where we go, well, why am I doing it? Because if I'm doing it for external validation, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
If I'm doing it for me, doesn't matter.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I just want to reiterate again, it's hard. It's hard being the tall poppy syndrome. You're more likely to get chopped off if you're taller. So if you stand out by doing something different, it's going to come. But it's just a case of being true to yourself and kind of pushing forward and trying to work out what the intent behind some of the messaging is.
And getting excited about the prospects and about the opportunities and what it could look like, making sure that you are filling your own cup.
Yeah.
Especially on those days when you might be feeling a bit naff or whatever that might be. Just remember you're working towards something that is better, greater for you. And that should be exciting fundamentally as well.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you something, because it's connected to what we're talking about and where we're at now. Obviously, we're coming to the second week in January now, to the end of it. This is the week. So I was going to ask about this. There's this statistic that just floats around of X percentage of people give up by the second week, X percentage of people give up by the fourth week. I'm going to call out now that statistic is absolute garbage.
Okay.
And someone's made it up at some point based off some arbitrary study, and it's based in no fact. But it's now become the Blue Monday situation.
I don't know what it started yet.
And what I think is going to happen now is I can imagine going into an office on Friday, going in for lunch, and someone saying, "Have you give up yet? Have you give up on your good eating yet, Liam?" And I look at them and go, "I hadn't, but why are you asking me that?" And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy of, But I mean, maybe it's something to look at for your next newsletter, or to basically get out there is where does that data come from, and is it real, or is it just perpetuated urban myth?
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly convinced that it might be.
My gut, visceral response was, but if it's part of your identity, it doesn't have an expiry date. So no one's ever said to me, "Have you stopped brushing your teeth now?" You've been doing it for what? Well, we don't need to talk about ages, but more than 21 years. Have you stopped brushing your teeth? So if you decided about the identity you're working towards, be that gym, be that LinkedIn videos, pushing out your comfort zone, and it doesn't have to be a specific goal. It could be, if you are wanting to develop in your career, you could be doing a multitude of things. Yeah. And it might be that you've done a couple of videos, but you have stopped because you're doing other things. It doesn't just have to be one goal. The identity, if your identity is fitness, it doesn't mean you have to go to the gym 5 times a week. That's training, yoga, stretching, nutrition, hydration, sleep. It's all in there. Yeah. So it doesn't mean just because you haven't been 3 times this week, well, that's it, you've given up. No. I think it's important to question that from a space of, it wasn't Lent. This isn't a short challenge. Yeah. This is part of who I am. So why would I have given up? I think that's really odd. It's a really odd question. You're right.
I think that's sort of I have a bit of weirdness about dry January, sober October. Trying to think of the other ones we've got. We have there's a carnivore one in January. There's vegan January, but then to counter that, there's also a carnivore January. Basically, there's all these short-term intense phases. Yeah. Now, I think that the logic behind it is that, let's say the dry January, you don't drink in January, so that when you get to February, you've experienced what it's like to not drink, and you can make that seems reasonable. But I think, again, a lot of people would sprint in January to do what you said, and then, the floodgates then open in February, and it's like, well, what happened? But maybe that's conversation for another day.
Well, no, you're right, because the more you tell your brain you can't have something, it's a child, isn't it? You tell a child they can't have chocolate. They probably didn't even want the chocolate, but now that's all they can think about, and they're dealing with this chimp all day for 31 days of January, and then come the 1st of February, that's it. Yeah, it is game over. They wouldn't have done that in the first place.
Yeah.
So for some people, let's just throw it out there. For some people, absolutely brilliant. It'll work for them. They love that kind of thing.
There's nothing that we talk about that isn't. There is always an exception to the rule.
Yeah, of course.
But on mass of population, there's a pattern that can be picked out.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that bombshell.
Thank you so much for listening.
We do need to let people know, if you haven't seen already, Kathy is now a columnist in Prolific North. And you are writing a column called...
It's a personal development mindset column in the Prolific North newspaper publication.
Online.
So get signed up.
Put some link in the show notes.
We will.
Show notes?
For this show.
Yeah, getting serious. We'll put a link to the show notes. Obviously, if you have not subscribed to the newsletter, Be Your Own Coach newsletter, please do so.
Please do.
You head to beyourowncoach.com /newsletter.
Brilliant.
And sign up there.
Great.
And you get regular emails written by Kathy.
Hand designed.
With tips.
By yours truly. Every
advice,
Tuesday.
Strategy.
No
tips.
spam.
No spam.
Don't do any of that. 1 email a week. Done.
Lovely.
Awesome. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any comments, questions, examples of where you've experienced this pushback or how you've overcome it, please do let us know because we want to know. That's all from us.
Have a great week.
See you later.
Bye.